acronym is for North Eira Minerals. Eira Thomas is the CEO of the company. Pass it over to you.
Great, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here at the Red Cloud Conference. It's been a few years since I've had an opportunity, and I really do appreciate the support that we have had with Red Cloud over the years. I am going to be probably introducing this story to many of you. This is a new story. It's an early stage story. But the company itself has actually been around for quite a long time, and I'll talk briefly about the history. I will be making some forward-looking statements, so do encourage you all to review our cautionary statement at your leisure, which is available on our website. As I mentioned, North Eira is a company that has been around for a long time. It has a great pedigree. It is really known mostly for its foray into diamonds in northern Canada, and has put together a very large prospective portfolio of advanced diamond projects. It has been incredibly difficult to get attention for diamonds in the market in the last 5 to 10 years. So we made the decision on the basis of our very strong shareholder base that we should really pivot and think about opportunities in the gold sector. So what you really get when you think about an investment in North Eira Minerals is a very seasoned management team that's been in the business. Most of us have been in the business for 30 plus years, and we have a long history of wealth creation for our shareholders in different sectors, including gold and diamonds. And we have some key supporters on the shareholder side as well. Ross Beatty owns about 7.5% of the stock. Management insiders are sitting at about 15%, and we also have some other big money names like Bob Quartermain. So we've got great sponsorship. And as of about 6 months ago, we acquired an opportunity that we think is absolutely unique and world class. And I'm going to tell you more about that in a moment. With the acquisition of this project, we have been fortunate to be generating some good news flow, and because this project has year-round access, that news flow looks to continue. The share structure we'll look at the very end, but it's a nice tight share structure. We've recently rolled it back, so we're sitting at about 28 million shares, again with great shareholder sponsorship. So the project that we have recently acquired an option to earn a majority interest in is called the Kraaipan Gold Project. And we're really fortunate that that project comes with a world-class team that are specialists in sub-Saharan Africa. And that team has access to proprietary technology, which we are deploying for the very first time on this project as a part of our initial kind of year one strategy. The country is Botswana. We like to think of Botswana as the Switzerland of Africa. It has a long history of mining and economic development through mining, going back more than 50 years. Their Mining Act is based on the Canadian Minerals Act, so it is definitely a workable system. And they're very supportive of companies getting in and getting involved in grassroots exploration, particularly in non-diamond opportunities. Botswana has a long history of diamond mining, but less exposure to minerals like gold and copper. So this is something that they are encouraging, particularly of late, as the diamond market has been in a real malaise. This slide is just highlighting some of the key value drivers behind being in Botswana. Some investors have concerns over Africa, but we really do view Botswana as a safe and leading jurisdiction. It's stable, it's democratic, it's been that way for 50 years, and as I mentioned, mining has been the cornerstone of their economy. So we are specifically focused on Botswana for a couple of reasons, but the most important reason being technical people by nature. I myself am a geologist. Is really the rocks. It's really all about the geology. And on this slide, what we're looking at here is an outline of the Cap-Val Craton. Figure out how to use my just shown in white here. And this is a really important craton. It's got a very strong mineral endowment and is responsible for hundreds of mines in South Africa. But as you cross over the border, there's much fewer mines, and the real question is, why is this the case? And that's really because this is an area that is covered by Kalahari sand, so it's a difficult area to explore. And that has really dissuaded a lot of explorers in the past. So the geology is very prospective, and yet very limited exploration effort has been invested in this part of the world to date. That allowed us to acquire a very large land package. And if we flip to the next slide, I'll show you the area in yellow, which represents about 724 square kilometers of greenstone terrain. This is Archean greenstone. This is prime hunting grounds for gold deposits, and many of the Canadians in this room will appreciate that we've had prolific mineral endowment here in Canada coming out of our Archean greenstone terrain in Ontario and Quebec. And this is no different. It has the same prospectivity. Unfortunately, it's difficult to see below that sand. The other really attractive feature of our land position in this area is that we are directly on trend from the multi-million ounce Kal Gold mine, which is situated across the border in South Africa, which has been in production for the last 25 years. So our thesis is that we've got gold endowment elsewhere in this belt in South Africa that should continue into Botswana. There was also some historical work that was done in this region many years ago in the early 90s that did identify and report some interesting gold anomalies from rock samples and from RAB drilling. However, that work was later followed up by an effort with an Australian company that couldn't reproduce those results, so it was really a big question that we needed to answer. The only other thing I will mention about the rocks before we move on, in addition to having the right rocks, the right geology, you also need structure, because structure ultimately is the plumbing for mineralizing fluids and gold, and this particular part of the craton benefits from direct proximal access to the Holzberg liniment, which is the right age and is a crustal scale suture zone, which is a prime target for mineralizing gold fluids. What we're highlighting here now is, again, the Kal Gold mine to the south of us. This has really become our primary target. Can we find more banded iron formation hosted gold? We're just highlighting some of the production that's come out of Kal Gold. It's been a very consistent producer over 25 years, and the grades are approximately a half a gram cut off, and they're just averaging over a gram. So that's kind of the lookalike target that we're going after. Our strategy is very much underpinned by access to new technologies, which I'm highlighting on this slide. We have access to our own drone, which was developed in South Africa, that can basically generate high quality magnetic data for a fraction of the cost. A typical airborne survey would cost in the order of $50 to $60 a line kilometer. We're managing to collect this information for $1 to $2 a line kilometer. So that has been a big game changer for us. In addition, we have access to our own proprietary drill. This is a reverse circulation drill, and we can rapidly move this drill around the project area because we have great road access. And that strategy with the drilling is basically to test base of Kalahari sands to collect geochemistry, and at the same time continue drilling into bedrock to get bedrock samples that are specifically going after targets that we've identified from our geological compilation work. In addition, we have our own lab in Botswana where we do sample prep, and then all of those samples go to South Africa for processing. And then the final component, which a lot of companies are talking more and more about these days, is deep machine learning, which we are then applying to this plethora of data sets that we're collecting. So this is just an example to kind of highlight the importance of the magnetic drone that we are flying. A typical kind of airborne survey in this area on the right is the kind of resolution you'd expect to get from a helicopter or plane. With our system, which flies much lower and with much tighter spacing, this is the kind of resolution we're getting. So for the first time, we're able to map detailed structures within the entire greenstone terrain. And we've now covered 85% of our land holdings with this airborne drone mag. This is a shot of our drill, this also has been a game changer. When you're using a drill to explore, to collect geochemistry samples and rock samples, it's not easy to find a contractor in Africa. And we were able to drill 175 holes, averaging 3 holes a day, over a 3-month period. So this is sort of summing up our initial exploration approach, and I really want to highlight that we've done all of this work, which includes airborne mag, mapping, there is limited outcrop exposure here, structural interpretations, and then finally getting into the drilling. We've done all of this under a budget of US $1 million. It's not too many parts of the world that can be achieved. So I'm going to go a little quicker here because I'm starting to eat into my question time. But basically 3 phases of drilling that were completed in 3 months. We were targeting 4 specific areas based on our geological interpretation and what we felt were the most permissive structures and targets. And we identified from the first phase of drilling, which really encompassed 109 holes from phases 1 and 2, 5 areas of interest. And keep in mind, one of the challenges here is we're actually targeting vertical structures or vertical zones of mineralization. So the chances of hitting that in a vertical RC program are obviously limited. So we drilled a number of fences. And again, the main purpose was geochem, but we obviously wanted to get bedrock samples as well. We were pleasantly surprised that we were able to generate some very compelling results from the rock samples themselves. And we've got multiple holes now where we've been generating results over a half gram, sometimes, with the full extent of the 10-meter intercept, and in some cases ending in mineralization. So super excited about this proof of concept opportunity, and it really reinforces that we can continue to do this throughout the belt at a very low cost, and we think we can basically end next year with a number of priority targets for follow-up. The 3rd phase of drilling was actually our most successful. This is an area where we actually have decent outcrop, and I should have mentioned on the previous slide the 4 areas that we prioritized from those drilling phases are actually sitting under less than 10 meters of sand. So these are shallow cover areas, and that's obviously super important for future economic viability. On this slide, again highlighting our best results to date, we've actually got an entire mineralized corridor that's emerged from this belt. This is an area where we did have historic rock samples up to 36 grams a ton that we weren't able to corroborate from the historical sampling, but we have now corroborated from our own, and we generated basically multiple drill holes and 2 fences here. These are actually angled holes, with our best result being 1.56 grams over 30 meters from surface. So this is a really good result, and really is in line with the tenor of the mineralization that we're seeing to the south of us at the Kalahari Gold Mine. So this is an area that we will definitely be following up with some additional angled holes, as well as getting a core rig into this area as soon as we can. If I didn't mention, I should mention that this is an area we can access pretty much 12 months of the year. We like to avoid being in this area when it gets too rainy, but that's really only for about 6 weeks, starting basically towards the end of November. So we are active in the field as we speak. We do have a geologist now in ground truthing all of these exciting new mineral intercepts that we've just reported as of yesterday. And so we're continuing with all of our detailed mapping. We will continue with our drill testing on using the RC, and then ideally we will be bringing in a core rig next year as well to go after these higher priority targets. This is a project that was put together by our partners Rockman. This is a South African explorer that again has been in Botswana for more than 25 years. They bring tremendous expertise in this area, as well as all of the infrastructure that we talked about and the technologies. We needed to spend $1 million, which we've done. We have an additional $2 million to spend in 2026 to keep the option alive, and ultimately we need to spend $5 million to earn 60%, and can potentially go to 80% through the completion of a PEA. For us, this was very much about how to solve the problem of explore and understand. Personally, I believe this is the great new frontier. There's a number of companies now tackling this problem around the world. We could argue that the easy things have been found. So chasing good geology undercover, I think, is the next big opportunity. And working with a strong technical team to try and explore these grounds efficiently is really been our objective, and we're very confident that the plan we put together and the strategy using the combination of all of these different technologies and our proprietary drill is going to allow us to continue to rapidly assess the full potential of the Kraaipan Greenstone Belt. So thank you very much.